All right, we're going to go from Ashman's channel where they're making fun of the youngsters who just act belligerent and crazy at traffic stops. And then we're going to go to the other extremes, to the
Do that to her own children.
Law and Crime Network, which is another channel. They collect the more serious crimes from the people who don't know any better, right? I mean, what would drive people to act so stupid at simple traffic stops, or to do something more horrific like this on the Law and Crime Network, where she stabs some of her children and then sets the house on fire? Was she medicated? Was she working with any state workers? And we check out any programs or local church programs or things that they might have been involved with. We check out any of that. Drug programs. Were they on probation? Right, so these are things a lot of people look into with these cases, and 9 times out of 10, they're either medicated or being fucked with by people throughout those systems. Yeah, you know, the vulnerable people, the lower class ones. So the Law and Crime Network takes the more serious cases where you'll have channels like Ashman and others who take the goofy stuff, you know, the idiots acting like morons at traffic stops. I'm going to give you my name, just trying to get your quota, make your numbers. Motherfuckers. Right, I mean, imagine if those programs had been implemented. Again, not only with the traffic stop bullshit, but here on the Law and Crime Network with the more serious cases, we've connected the dots with these streams and people and state workers fucking with people. And it is sad, and it doesn't justify what this crazy psycho did. But could it have been prevented? Were there signs? Wow. Yeah, there were signs, all right, back in 2010 when we told them not to implement that shit and push the medications on people and not teach the public school systems about our basic laws so they'd have an appreciation for them instead of being scared of them. Unfucking believable. I don't know, why don't you put it together, you fucking stick fucks? Here in Augusta, Maine, I know there's a handful of people that need to pack their shit and get the fuck out of here, directly connected to some of these state workers and psychos that have been overstepping their grounds. That's besides the point. We're concerned about young children in the hands of sick, murderous pedophiles who have been feeding out child and animal abuse to a lot of these lines. I mean, Ashman and the Law and Crime Network are right in line with a lot of those things. You know that, right? Get the Karens, the non-vaxxers, the bullies, the stupid, poor kids from the public schools who don't know any better. Right? Private establishments? Did you learn how to make a window?
The detectives returned to the neighborhood the following morning searching for answers.
Hi, so I know it's early.
Yeah.
Were you home last night?
So freaking sad.
Would you mind giving us a statement?
I've done a written one.
You did a written one already?
Yeah, me and my neighbor, he came and got me. And the girl jumped out the window.
This neighbor doesn't live too far from the Bristers. He says he noticed signs of tension just the day before the tragedy, moments that in hindsight seem to take on a much different meaning.
You see, I know him a little bit, the man from the dad. But him over here talking to somebody. I know Sunday, I was out here getting coffee. So the morning he was packing all this.
Because then it gets like a berry taste.
Through the baby car, sit down on the driveway, just rolling down, because I got a meeting. He was cutting everything out. He was putting like all his stuff. And I know he was going all week. We were here all week long. And that's rare because they don't work. They're usually there all the time.
Either one of them work?
Not that I know. They're there all day, every day. And so I figured, but see, back, I think it was, I want to say around December, I'm probably wrong with that. The cops got called out here, and they took her away and everything. And he came over here. Later that evening or the next day, explained us what was going on, and saying that she had got a knife or something, threatened to kill all of them, and stuff like that. And he said that's why they took her away, because they had her evaluated or something.
Yeah.
And, then a couple days later, she was back.
You never heard of fighting or anything?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it would never be like nothing, like, I would say, like, aggressively, but you would hear them bickering back and forth,
Oh, yeah.
But never no slamming or, breaking stuff or cussing or nothing like that, but you would hear them, going back and forth, not often, but I did hear them.
Families have disagreements, sure, but after what this neighbor tells investigators, it makes you wonder, were warning signs there all along? 2 days later, detectives are back in the neighborhood. While some describe the Bristers as a family who kept to themselves, other neighbors tell a different story.
Did you know of any arguments or any domestic violence, domestic abuse that would happen?
I know she had back on there get her out of there because she tried to kill everybody. That was about October or something like that.
When was this?
About October.
October last year?
She stayed home for about a couple months, something like that. They came back. She was all about it. So she felt better. Then, they said, before that, they got argued. She got argued with him again. They said she don't do the same thing. She want to kill him.
The she this neighbor is referring to is Darlene Brister. And after learning the allegations against her, they're suddenly viewing her through a different lens.
Did you see anything personally when the situation happened?
Yes and no. The mall was in the backyard, but I did not know that. The whole time we were standing right there at my neighbor's back fence, and it was also right there at their back fence. And she was in the backyard the whole time. We didn't know that until the police officers were telling her to get out of the ground or put her hands up something. What did you witness before that? Like when it all began? Oh, I didn't witness nothing. Okay.
Yeah, if you just perhaps a witness statement about her character with the kids and stuff like that, just like you told us, and then what you saw.
That's not going to help her, right? Because she needs to clean it.
No, that's not going to help her. We're just saying that her character before and then her character now.
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly what you just told us.
Yeah.
Just to show the court system that how the neighbors saw her act beforehand with the family. Versus what occurred. Just honestly thought she was possessed or something. It was a complete turnaround. She's already been insane or something. And I understand she's homeschooling some kids, but that's a mental breakdown. Didn't she?
Now, neighbors can only speak to what they see from the outside. There's one person who knows Darlene better than anyone else, her husband, Ricky Brister.
You have a preacher, anybody you can talk to, or somebody you can...
Got a preacher?
But it doesn't have to be a preacher.
Again, she probably look into any drugs they were taking, prescribed, who they were working with, being fucked with, check their messages. Yeah, they never like to do that, do they? Because it shows it point blank. I mean, we can see it without all that. But for the commoners to get it, I guess they need it shoved right in their face to accept what's happening, you know? Yeah, they gotta see the kids being fucked and tortured right in front of their face for them to act on it, you know? I know. How horrible, huh? That's enough of that. I know how sad she stabbed 3 of them, yeah. And the other ones jumped out the window. It's absolutely fucking horrible, and how sad those kids had to go through that. And then they always want to be like, were there signs before? What could have prevented this? And when we're like, yeah, look at the fucking people that were fucking with them, the drugs they were on, being prescribed, programs, church programs, look in the community, check their messages. They never want to do that because it totally fucking exposes. Yeah, what could have prevented that? And instead of looking at all that, they just want to talk to other people and, yeah, they just all of a sudden started acting crazy, like she went insane or something. Yeah, people are totally fucked. You're all totally fucked. Hopefully the proper authorities here in Augusta, Maine do what they're supposed to do to help these children. That's all I know. Yeah, you can do that by speaking the truth. Seems like these topics nobody wants to discuss is causing a lot of the major problems. Blame it on the rain. Yeah, yeah.
You know, again, those are way down. Bad that has been virtually depleted.
It didn't shine that
and
night.
They're claiming that they, actually, that's about right. So people were in inventory 2330, estimated 1430. So they've got about 800 left, 900 left. I think that's accurate. So no, these are not wildly off. These are in the ballpark.
Yeah. I think this is one of the main factors for what's going on right now.
No, usually doesn't do one during the day.
I think this graph is showing better.
I might check that one out in a second.
During the war.
Yeah, they usually don't do one during the day.
And you see the difference. Going from
I'm just listening to a little bit of this.
4,400 to, 1100. And you see the difference. How
that's not. Again, you read
Yeah,
it wrong.
it's 511
What
here.
they're showing
511
is the
on the
total
nose.
estimated before, and then they're showing the number.
Yeah, I love
used.
this time of day because the sun
It's
shines
not
in my
showing
room.
the number left over. The number left over is the distance between the red, the white
it's right
side
there.
of the red,
and the blue.
and
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
I'm just saying that the number of JASMs and tomahawks is much smaller than what they're estimating. I think their estimates for the Prism and the Bad and Patriot but the Patriot's even less. Yeah, so I don't see how those numbers don't work. Should be just
Hello.
900.
Making a footbed
Yeah.
mat.
Yeah, I mean, the graphs are a little screwed up. But it makes the point. They're short.
These are interceptors, Larry. When it comes to the
Not
THAAD
all.
and
Not all. That and Patriot are interceptors. JASM, Tomahawk, Prism are so-called long-range, intermediate-range precision missiles.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. These are numbers. I think they matter the most for Donald Trump and his calculation. Is that the case, or is that about?
Oh, I think it's one possible factor. But I pointed out another one last night as well, the shortage of diesel and jet fuel. The military's basically been stealing from civilian supplies to keep itself supplied, and the shortages on the civilian side are increasing dramatically, which is going to have real negative economic consequences. So, and it doesn't mean it's either or, it can be both. I mean, there's not just one factor weighing in, I think, on Trump's decision. But, and also, just watching what the Houthis did to the Saudis. You know, they blew the hell out of Jazan, the petrochemical refinery. So that's, the fact that Iran can do similar amounts of damage to the United States, U.S. infrastructure throughout the region. It just continues. Whereas the United States cannot do the same level of damage, in part because of its short limitations on its weapon systems.
Did the United States reduce the number of forces in the region, or it's still 50,000? It was 50,000, 55,000.
It doesn't matter if they have 100,000. It's an irrelevant number. I mean, it's just, if you got 50,000 people, those are, the majority are support personnel, mechanics, people servicing the aircraft, refueling the aircraft, carrying out ground crew activities.
Thank you.
But these are not
you're
combat
welcome.
forces
Thank you.
waiting to invade Iran. It's not to say that the United States may try something that's stupid, but I don't think that we've not seen a surge of personnel forward to do that mission. And in fact, the one unit that's actually qualified to do those kind of assault sees like Karg Island or sees Keshem. That unit hasn't even been deployed. So
Zelensky attack, as you talked about it before, Iranian vessel, cargo vessel from Russia to Iran was hit by, I don't know if they used the drones to hit that cargo. One sailor was killed, and today the Iranian foreign minister said, calling Zelensky a freeloader, and says they're going to respond to what Zelensky did. But it says, the Iranian foreign minister says that Israel is behind this, or they're doing this for Israel. And because they want to drag Europe into the fight.
yeah, they may very well try to do that. Yeah. So I mean, it's like wake me up when Iran retaliates. Until then, threats, words, they mean nothing. And if Iran retaliates, it's there are limits to what it can do. It's not like Kyiv is not getting hit with missiles. One more ballistic missile from Iran is not going to make a hell of a lot of difference. And again, this is what the hell are they going to hit?
I don't know what Iran can add to what Russia is doing in Ukraine. That's the problem for Iran.
Yeah.
I don't see Iran doing anything anytime soon because they don't need to go. Russia is just hitting everything in Ukraine. That's
Russia has intensified its attack on both with missiles, drones, in Kyiv and Odessa and Nikolaev, and all on the front line. So it's not just in one dimension. Russia's fighting on multiple dimensions right now.
Do you see any scenario under which Europe would join the fight?
Join what fight?
In the West Asia? Yeah, on behalf with Ukraine, helping Israeli war on Iran, helping the United States.
They got their hands full trying to help Ukraine. They're doing a damn poor job of that too. Yeah, no, they're not going to get up embroiled with Iran, Persian Gulf. They need the liquid natural gas coming out of there desperately. But what's happening is whatever natural gas is coming out, the Asians are stepping up saying, "Hey, we'll pay you a higher price." And the owners of that gas are saying, "Great, we'll go to you. Screw Europe." So Europe's in real trouble. And it's paying exorbitant prices compared to what it was paying. Again, this is how they get everything they deserve. To suffer, to freeze to death.
Yes, yeah, thank you.
They're the ones that walked away from the relationship with Russia. When Russia was providing cheap oil and gas, or cheap liquid natural gas and cheap gasoline, cheap
that would be
diesel.
awesome.
And Europe told them to go to hell. Okay, I think the ones going to get to hell first is going to be Europe. And they'll probably, and come January, February, they'll welcome hell because at least they'll have some heat. And it's going to be icy cold weather. And again, I don't think Ukraine can survive a winter right now because the pace of the collapse has accelerated. Russia's not holding back on who it's targeting like they did in the past. And they're shutting off the grain flows in and out, all the product flows in and out of Odessa. It's a stranglehold on Ukraine. That it cuts off. It's like cutting off their flow of oxygen. They'll die.
But the situation is somehow getting so critical. I think it's as your understanding is spot on because nobody's talking about the blockade on Odessa. Odessa is under the Russian blockade as we talk. It means that there is no connection between Ukraine with the Black Sea. Odessa is a big chunk of the Black Sea.
Right. And Nikolaev, don't forget Nikolaev, which is a little farther west of Odessa, but again, another important port for getting goods in and out of Ukraine. Yeah, no, this is devastating now. That you just look back and say, why the hell did Russia do this sooner? But for whatever the reasons, they're doing it now. That's what counts.
Because they're learning from the battlefields in West Asia. They see these blockades are working just perfectly to put pressure. I think they had to do it since day one of the war. They could have bring a lot of. You remember how the British used that port in Odessa to bring a lot of weapons, a lot of forces, everything. They were running Odessa for such a long time.
Yeah. Well, Russia again is actually I'd say pretty naive as a country, but too trusting. they signed up to an agreement pushed by the UN, by the United Nations and Secretary General, and to allow the grain flows to the global south. But it was really, that was this cover story that the Europeans diverted it to Europe. So Russia finally said, hey, we've had, after their own ships are getting attacked, and not a word of protest from the
I might be able
United
to finish
Nations
this
on behalf
rope
of
before
Russia.
the battery dies.
Russia said,
We'll
screw
see.
it, we're not, it's a one-way street, we're not
Actually,
playing that
my
game
charger
anymore.
might reach.
And they've now shut down the Odessa port. Nothing's going in, nothing's going out.
The other point would be, we're talking about, is Russia going to attack Odessa? Are they gonna capture Odessa? What would be the policy? Basically, with the blockade, they don't need to go and fight in Odessa or on the ground. They put the blockade and the port is just turned into nothing.
No, they'll ultimately need to go in. Just the blockade itself is not going to cause the Ukrainian troops in Odessa to surrender. It'll help. But ultimately, it's going to be Russian troops going to have to go in and take it over, physically occupy it. And they will, I believe.
My understanding, if they stay with the blockade and put political pressure on Odessa, they may change
Tight
the
hole.
situation in that
A tight
city.
hole here.
It's a big city, by the way. It's not something easy to
Right.
go underground, and it's going to be a trap for them. I don't
Well,
know how easy.
it's historically been a Russian city. It was not historically a Ukrainian city. Despite Ukrainian claims to the contrary. So, I can see Russia just, they're going to take it at some point. It's just a matter of when and how.
There is nothing left in Ukraine more important than in Ukraine today, more than Odessa and Mykolaiv, in my opinion. Because these are two, I
Well,
would say, choke points of
yeah,
Ukraine.
it's a southern lifeline. I mean, that's their only sea access, and cargo ships, container ships, can carry a hell of a lot of goods, as well as be the means for exporting what Ukraine produces in terms of grains, principally. Now that's all shut off, done. So they're, like I said, they're in the early stages of strangulation.
That's why I don't see. I don't know how much of pressure they would put on Russia by attacking Iranian vessels. That doesn't have anything to do with Russia.
It's largely irrelevant. It's one vessel.
They're
Hell,
desperate.
even if they sank it, so what? That's not critical to Russia's war effort. It may have been important for Iran's war effort, but it's just
Awesome.
this highlights the military weakness of Ukraine.
Wow.
And all it can do now is attack civilian targets.
That looks really
It's proven
good.
ineffective going after military targets.
If it was of that importance, in my opinion, Iran would have responded by now. Maybe some wheat or maybe seed oil or something of that sort. It was hit. It wasn't that.
I think they're going to leave it to the Russians to pound the hell out of Ukraine. Iran can focus on its own, area of responsibility right now.
Exactly. And they're in perfect cooperation right now.
Yeah.
I could argue that. And every time, 24/7 talking to each other. Because the Caspian Sea, Larry, today I was watching the General Wesley Clark in a video on CNN. He said we have to go beyond what's going on in the Persian Gulf. We have to put blockade all over Iran, 100%.
How did he do that? Did he explain how he was going to do that?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Don't ask me. That makes no damn sense. He's going to close down How's he going to close down Iran's border with Russia? Try to get Armenia and Azerbaijan to interfere? They'll get wiped out. Armenia is too damn small anyway, 3 million people. Azerbaijan's just 10 million. They try to start interfering in that way, they're going to make themselves a target. And what, Tajikistan, Pakistan? That's not going to happen. So it's sad to see somebody like Clark say just such ignorant, stupid things.
And he knows the region, by the way. He was in the region, he knows the region, and I assume...
By the way, let's separate those. He's been in the region. I'm not sure he learned a damn thing. You're being generous saying that he knows the region. No, he's visited the region. Does he know it? Doesn't sound like it.
Israeli Prime Minister Larry on Khan News reported that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told ministers during a cabinet meeting that the United States had presented demands for a broad Israeli withdrawal from Gaza, Syria, Lebanon, and it says that Netanyahu said that he would reject the proposed demands, telling ministers that he intended to tell them no, signaling his opposition to any large-scale Israeli pullback from the three fronts. The three fronts are basically in Gaza, in Palestine, in Lebanon, and in Syria. I assume if the reports are somehow telling us the reality, do you see anything of that sort happening during the meeting between the two, Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu?
No. I mean, Netanyahu
You having iced tea? I'm having hot tea.
Renew the attacks on
Cheers.
Iran, and I think Trump's going to tell Netanyahu we can't. We don't have the resources to do it.
I mixed the green tea and the
question is right now for Donald Trump talking to
it's
Benjamin
extra
Netanyahu,
strong.
asking him, what else do you want me to do for you? What is that? What does he want from this war? Attacking Iran? Okay, I'm gonna continue attacking Iran in southern part, in the western part. How is that gonna benefit Benjamin Netanyahu?
It doesn't. I mean, what Netanyahu wants is the change of the regime, and he's not going to get it. He may hope that Trump can renew the attack. I think that Trump's going to let him know, hey, we got limited assets right now. Now, that's not to say that after that meeting, Trump's going to, find another excuse to go after and attack Iran. And then, again, a week, by Wednesday or Thursday of this week, we'll be back with full-blown tit for tats again.
I assume that would happen, Larry. Here is what Donald Trump posted. Again, a strike on Clark Island. And it seems that he's
got a fantasy picture.
Is he preparing? Is he, I don't know if he's still receiving the information that he's gonna go there and he's gonna, because is it part of propaganda? And
I think it could be all of the above.
Here's the other one. It's our oil tanker now. Isn't that amazing, Larry? He's the president of the United States doing this.
Yeah. I'm sitting here looking to see. He hasn't done too much. Those are earlier today. I'm just looking at his posts over the last 32 minutes. It's all about, building up Trump's ego. Trump's America, Trump is back, America's back, and trusted, and guardian of the world. So then he's the last one was 42 minutes ago. Goodbye engine room, blowing up an Iranian tanker.
Yeah.
And then we've got Guardian Angels of the World, F-35s, and other aircraft, B-1 bombers, dropping charges on Iran. Then, like we said, Guardians of the World.
This General Wesley Clark today said in the new video, he was contradicting himself, because you remember
You're welcome.
4 days ago he said
Thank
that
you.
the only way to achieve
so
the
much.
victory is the occupation, the ground operation. And today he said that that's not an option for the United States anymore. That's why he came out with the argument of blockade. All over
Yeah,
the
he finally got the memo.
Yeah. Netanyahu says that Saudi Arabia will receive a civilian nuclear program in exchange for normalizing relations with Israel. The guy is just said it. Just
they're
said
not,
it.
they're not going to get one. If they get one, it's going to be, 10 years minimum. But they have to, according to Trump, they have to sign up to the Abraham Accord before they get a nuclear reactor. And candidly, the United States has only built 2 in the last 30 years. Not exactly a country with great expertise in this. We've had expertise in the nuclear field in general, but the actual nuts and bolts of building reactors and getting it up and running, we've got very little experience with that.
The nuclear plant in the UAE was built by South Koreans. And it wasn't the United States building that. It seems that the United States doesn't have the capabilities to build a nuclear power plant right now for Saudi Arabia.
It's built 2 in the last 30 years. Okay, 2.
Yeah. In the United States?
Yes. Well, we haven't built any outside the United States. That's my point. No, we can't even build them here in a timely fashion.
And they have to be there. If you're building a new power plant, as it is right now with the Iranian nuclear power plant in Bushehr, you have to have Russian experts there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the point. That's why China and Russia and 2 of the leading countries in building nuclear reactors.
But they had an offer from Iranians. You remember before, the assassination of the supreme leader of Iran, he offered Saudi Arabia, if you want to have a nuclear power plant, we're going to help you to do that. We can cooperate in the case of nuclear. That's an option for Saudi Arabia. I don't know if they're serious, they're talking about it. They don't need to normalize the relationship with Israel, or
then working with Russia, China, North Korea, hell, even France makes more sense than working with the United States.
I think the main objective is to have the capabilities. Just having the capabilities, what does that mean? It doesn't mean that you're going to have the enrichment on your soil, as Donald Trump said that. You're not going to be the capabilities to produce or to be, as they call it, the threshold states like Brazil, like Japan, like Iran. These countries have the capabilities to produce nuclear weapons, but they didn't produce them, the weapons. That's not going to bring Saudi Arabia that sort of leverage.
Well, right now, true. I mean, look, we're talking fantasy. I don't know why we're wasting our time. nothing concrete is going to happen over this within the next 5 years. So we might as well be talking about golden butterflies flying out of a horse's ass. Just as likely to happen.
So there are two ways, Larry, right now. One of them is the tit for tat, the continuation, which you, as you mentioned, you suppose that the United States is going to get back to the war. They're going to hit Iran hard next week.
Well, that's still on the table. Right now, we're not seeing the behind-the-scenes action that would indicate that's getting ready to happen. Or happen anytime soon. Not to say that they can't get turned on
doing
and
my
then
ends right
decide
now.
to do it again.
See the
I mean,
difference?
this on again,
I was
off
not
again,
doing them
on
right
again,
over
off
here.
again with
But now I'm
Trump.
doing them right over here.
We're at war, we're not
Thank
at
you for
war, we're
noticing that,
talking,
by
we're
the
not
way.
talking. Iran's
You have a
coming to
good
the
eye.
table, Iran's obliterated, they don't have any military force left, You can't keep his story straight. So, you get a different lie a week. 1 minute is, we're all about opening the Strait of Hormuz. My God, we care a whole lot. That's why Central Command announced for the first 13 days that our mission was to degrade Iran's capabilities to launch missiles into the Strait of Hormuz and open the Strait of Hormuz. That's our job. And then Trump turns around and says, no, we don't care about the Strait of Hormuz. What we care about are nukes. Is Iran getting a nuke? That's what we care about. So then everyone turns around and says, that's what we care about now too. And then what happens if the aircraft carrier, if like one of the U.S. ships gets sunk, severely damaged, all of a sudden we've gone from worrying about nuclear weapons, now we're back to worrying about security in the Gulf. So it's just, he's back and forth like a ping pong ball.
Yeah. Do we have I don't know if we can understand the situation with Yemenis. I don't know if my understanding is that whatever happens, as it was promised by Iranians, that they're going to bring the case of Yemen in, if there is any negotiations behind the scene. It seems to me that they're talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yemen cannot be ignored in any.
Who cannot be ignored?
Yemen and the siege
Oh,
in
yeah.
Yemen.
Yeah. Very true.
Saudi Arabia today, there was so the Yemenis, they hit one of the drones, Saudi drones, which is basically a Turkish drone, Bayraktar as they call it.
Yeah.
They hit
Right.
that.
Yep.
It's a reconnaissance
Hold
drone,
on.
just gathering information, and they hit that
Yeah.
drone. It means that they were still thinking of fighting Yemenis and
Yeah,
Saudi
no, I'm
on the
finishing
ground,
up
because
that.
these reconnaissance drones are
I usually
going
don't
there
do more
to
than
get
2 or 3
information,
rows at a
and
time
they're
for that
transferring
way.
those information to the forces on the ground
Thank
to
you.
fight back, or
I like it too. I like these colors.
maybe gathering information for the fighter jets
Is it
of Saudi
coming out
Arabia.
good?
But these are signs that Saudi Arabia is not backing down. They're going to continue the fight with Yemen.
Yeah, I do too. Thank you.
Yeah, not really.
Go.
I mean, the ground fighting is meaningless. Not going to change a damn thing strategically. The Saudi forces, they don't have the power to invade the Houthi-held territory
okay.
and subjugate. And so if it gets to that point, if they actually start making some progress on the battlefield, Yemen's, they're holding.
I was gonna play
trump
Clash
cards.
in a little bit if you
They
want to
can,
play
they
with
can
me.
take out the
I had to do my
oil
wars.
terminals in Yanbu, north and south. They've already done damage to Jizna in southern, southeastern Iran. the problem with Jizna is right now
All
it's been
right.
damaged. They're
Okay, thank
estimating it
you.
can't be repaired
Welcome.
in 4 months. But it is,
Yeah.
it is the most
I'm gonna
modern
make some soup too.
petrochemical refinery in the world. And it's been severely damaged, and Iran can still go back and say, oh, we'll take that out. We'll completely wipe that out, take that off the book, and there goes 70%, and that makes it impossible to do oil. So that all, there goes the economic stability of Qatar.
To me, Larry, Saudi Arabia repeated it the
I
same.
mean, the economic stability of Saudi Arabia. I mean, it's just, right now the Saudis are sort of hanging by their fingertips with the oil coming out of the Yaman, North and South Terminal. And that gets cut off. Like you used the expression with you last night. They talk about tit for tat. Okay, there's plenty of tit in Saudi Arabia. There's little tat in Yemen. I mean, what? Okay, they're gonna try to drop some more bombs on Hodeidah. It's like the expressions of, oh, we're gonna bomb them back into the 15th century. Hello, they're living 14th century. So if it's 15th century, that's in advance. Now, that's a joke, but the reality is Yemen, despite its poverty, despite lack of a lot of big infrastructure normally associated with more modern countries, it's got the ability to build missiles and deploy missiles, and the West has been unable to stop that. And I had a friend remind me that the true Arab on the Saudi Peninsula are not the Saudis. They're a bunch of Johnny-come-latelys. Yemen is the real Arabia.
Right.
The Souths were dysfunctional nomads who, they never had a base historically. You go to Riyadh and Jeddah, you're not looking at ancient buildings and, that this was established civilization. They were wandering the desert, wiping their ass with sand. Being crude and candid about it. Whereas Yemen, actually, they had seaport, they had Roger trade. They were an Arab presence in that entire region for years and years. So if right now the Saudis decide to really try to engage and fight Yemen, they can't do it. They'll get beat. And they'll suffer more damage than if they just sort of shut up and stay home.
I am disappointed with your comment on the targets in Yemen, Larry. For the first time, how can you ignore those beautiful mountains in Yemen that they can?
Yeah. Just go waste all your ammunition blowing up mountains. Yeah, that'll be an earth shaker, game changer.
Yeah. Larry, how do you find the situation for Donald Trump in the United States? It seems to me that as time goes by, Democrats are totally against what he's doing in the West Asia. Benjamin Netanyahu is not that popular within American people, considering the public opinion in the United States. And Donald Trump is the only reason that Benjamin Netanyahu is getting everything he wants. How is that gonna put pressure on Donald Trump and his sort of policies in West Asia?
I don't think he cares. I don't think that pressure really has any effect whatsoever.
There are people who care about that in the Trump administration.
Care what the Democrats said? No.
No, about Israel.
Yeah, but care what the Democrats think about Israel. Israel's still got a core of support there. Between Susie Wiles, Chief of Staff, and Stephen Miller, another Deputy Chief of Staff. Trump is still, surrounded by some ardent Zionists. The question gets down to, can he get out of this without getting painted as a loser? And the odds are no, he can't.
I think you raised a very critical point, which is, does Donald Trump care about the continuation of the war? In favor of, if he's serving Israel and the Israeli agenda, does he care about?
He wants out. That's why we're.
Point, which is, does Donald Trump care about the continuation of the war? In favor of, if he's serving Israel and the Israeli agenda, does he care about?
He wants out. That's why we're seeing this latest taco round. He was gonna unleash the gates of hell. Well, the gates of hell are now locked, and not opening in the next day or two. Maybe later this week he might do another reversal. But the problem, not only does the United States have shortages of precision missiles, they've got shortages of diesel, jet fuel. They've got shortages of tankers that can do KC-135s that can do the air refueling.
Supposed to have kids with her?
They got lots of problems.
This is Victor's vehicle. There's blood in it.
So I stopped. I'm like, hey, what are you
The
doing?
gates of hell, it means that he's going to attack Iranian infrastructure, power plant.
Two cars and
Well, that's initially that was the implication, and actually he said so.
What happened in the next 60 seconds left a woman with a bullet in her
Then,
shoulder, a
after
shattered
that,
rear window,
what else
and two
can
completely
you do?
different accounts of who started it.
Go after nuclear facilities, go after go hit the places he claimed he already obliterated once, and get him again. And let's not forget, it was again the Defense Intelligence Agency last July came out with an assessment saying, we didn't obliterate it, we left a lot of it intact. And Trump was enraged at the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency. Again, a general he was fired for telling the truth.
What's going on?
That means the same happening in GCC countries. Let's put these two parts of the equation. The way that the United States attacks Iran, Iran can respond to GCC countries.
Yesterday we saw
Maybe
the President of the United
attack on
States
Israel. I assume if they do something so dramatic in Iran, so important in Iran, they're going to respond. They may hit some targets in Israel as well. How is that? Go ahead.
No, I said, and that's been Israel's main concern right now, despite all the tough talk. They don't want to take any more damage. If Iran strikes the remaining the oil refineries in Haifa and Ashdod that are still operating, and they take those offline, Israel is out of fuel, out of aviation fuel, out of diesel, can't drive tanks, can't drive a lot of armored personnel carriers.
But the question, the main problem is still the same, the Strait of Hormuz.
Has not gone away and is not going to go away.
Do you feel that Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, all these countries, is the situation gonna bring all of them together? The continuation of the war is not gonna help them.
So far, no. They don't want to get in the middle of the war, but now with the United States and Iran. So we've seen. Actually, I thought that the Central Command's Air Force component, AFSET, who their nominal headquarters is always Shaw Air Force Base in South Carolina, but their actual operating headquarters had been Al Udeid for
my God, these last 14, 15 years. And they smartly have sent commanders close the CAOC, the Combined Air Operations Center, before the war started, and moved all the personnel back to Shaw Air Force Base to work there. Now, you search online and say, oh, this is just temporary. Nonsense, it's not temporary. This is permanent. The United States tries to go back in there to establish a military presence. I think Iran's plan is they'll destroy it.
The head of Iranian Parliament National Security Commission, Azizi, said that any attack on Iran always comes with a cost, and that remains true today. The United States and Israel are well aware of this. Ukraine too may soon come to an understanding that Iran does not let actions go unanswered. The list of those who have miscalculated is increasing. This is, but I still think that Iran is not.
Who said that?
This is the head of the Iranian Parliament's National Security Commission.
What officers are walking in
Is
here isn't the scene of the shooting.
Yeah, so I would listen to
The
him.
woman on the ground is 32 years old, and the man beside her is her husband. A few minutes earlier, the two of them had been driving in separate cars, running.
Let me bring a brand new one, Larry. You may interpret this one of Donald Trump.
Who thankfully were never in the car with them. The place this actually began is a few streets away. And to understand how she got here, you have to go back to the traffic circle and to a horn at.
Do you see the photo?
Oh yeah, saving Washington. From what?
This is going to be his vehicle.
This is.
And then that, whose vehicle is that?
And Trump is he's in a delusional land. He really got this grandiosity about him. Believes he's the savior and he's doing great. Can't convince him otherwise.
This is her vehicle. He shot out of that one.
Except if you have to focus on what's happening in Iran, then it realizes, well, things aren't going well. Things are going poorly.
It may be somehow laughable, but he really feels this way, Larry, sometimes. He really feels that he's a showman. He has to convince each and everybody that he's the best.
Well, that's been his whole life, and that's been born out of his great insecurity. But, he'd become a billionaire. Doesn't matter how he did it. But, so he earned sort of the respect for that, because he has so much money, but he's, instead of doing things for the benefit of the United States, he's doing everything for the benefit of Donald Trump and his family. Screw the United States.
Do you see the moment that they're gonna go after Trump's son, who's producing arms, drones, and they're part of it?
Yeah, it depends. Did the Democrats win the midterms? And yeah, they'll probably go after Donald Trump's two sons, not just one.
Because we know how Donald Trump tried to go after Joe Biden's son, and he pardoned him before leaving his office. I don't know if Donald Trump would do that, would do the same before.
Well, if he had any inklings that there was a possibility of such action, yeah, I think he would. I think you're right.
Larry, how do you see Syria right now? Do you see anything happening with Syria and Lebanon?
No. I just saw Sharon today reiterating, we're not going to get involved with the Lebanese civil war. We're not going to put our troops in going after Hezbollah. Not going to happen. I think he finally wised up to realize if he did, it could lead to their defeat. And, so he basically said, none of my business. Or he says, hey, Israel's got to vacate the Golan Heights. he's demanding that. He wants to know. Yeah, I mean, it is. There's no clear path out. Go ahead.
There are two sides in Syria. The one that the United States is representing, the one of Turkish side. I assume that these are totally the opposite of each other, because Turkey doesn't want anything to do with Lebanon. They don't want these people getting involved in the situation with Lebanon. But Donald Trump wants that.
Well, I mean, Syria as it stands right now is an artificial creation. It is the current ruler, Ashara, was placed there by largely Western interests, but one time where the West and Erdogan came together and agreed on something. That was a temporary agreement. Now you got Ashara insisting on the return of the Golan Heights. Well, Israel doesn't want that. And they're not willing to fight Hezbollah. So Israel wants that. So, I said, Syria is it's a non-factor anymore. It's been destroyed from within. It's just going to continue to sort of eat itself alive.
I think the only way that they can get back maybe some capabilities from Hezbollah, some capabilities from Turkey, some sort of cooperation between them. Nothing of that sort happening in
No, not going to happen. Like I said, Syria has now been made irrelevant. The tribal structure and the eastern part of Syria is intact. That's where the power lies, at least in that part of the country. Ashar may have control of Damascus, but he doesn't have control of the Alawite communities and the other Shia communities. So, he's got himself a big mess. He can't govern it.
Make some soup. What are you doing?
Thank you, Larry. Thank you so much. And we're gonna meet tomorrow at the same time.
What did I do to my... Oh, nothing. That's just how it is when I get out of the shower. I usually have to brush the curls out.
Not in the morning, correct?
No, exactly.
We're gonna
It'll have to be 5:30.
Broccoli and bamboo soup
Why is that?
with rice.
I have a 4:45.
Okay, 5:30. Then I'm gonna put it 5:30. Good.
Get the bamboo
Thank you.
shoots.
Thank
Okay,
you.
my friend.
Blend them up
Later.
in it.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
They're very good for you.
Flagstaff, Arizona, don't forget Winona, Kingman, Moscow, San Bernardino, won't you get hip to this time, it's hip. When you ain't back life for your trip.
Ooh.
Get your kicks
On Route 66. Bamboo shoots offer key health benefits, including blood sugar regulation, improved digestion, and heart health support. You can blend these up in sauces and soups and dips, sandwich spreads. Blend them up in the blender. They're really good for you. The Dynasty brand. They're low in calories and packed with dietary fiber,
Pointing
potassium,
fingers at each other.
and powerful antioxidants. 1 cup of cooked shoots has only about 13 calories and minimal fat, making them great for weight management. High in fiber, good for blood sugar control. The plant compounds in fiber, like inulin, help to slow down the glucose absorption in your body. Heart health, rich potassium levels help manage blood pressure, while the fiber content assists in lowering bad cholesterol. Antioxidants, vitamins E and C alongside plant phenols, protect your cells from daily damage and lower body inflammation. Do not eat them raw. They contain natural toxins, cyanogenic glycosides that can cause cyanide poisoning, so you don't want to eat them raw.
It's the single most effective
You must
way
always
to prevent
slice and
vitamins.
boil them thoroughly. or use fermented and canned varieties that are pre-prepared safely. Alexa, volume 1. So I blend them up and I put them in a soup. This says you must always slice and boil them thoroughly. I don't do that. Should I boil them thoroughly before I blend them in the soup? Right. You're welcome. Good, thank you. You're welcome. Alexa, volume 5. People with thyroid disorders, people with thyroid disorders, kidney or liver disease, and severe digestive issues should avoid or limit eating bamboo shoots. And raw or improperly cooked shoots should never be eaten by anyone. You're welcome. Thank you. Health conditions and risks. Thyroid disorders. Long-term consumption of bamboo shoots can affect thyroid function and may worsen conditions like hypothyroidism or goiters. Kidney and liver disease. Bamboo shoots contain oxalates and natural compounds that can strain the kidneys and liver, making them risky for people with a history of organ failure, stones, or severe disease. I suggest, very little if you want to add them in. You can try just adding in a few. You don't have to have any at all. I love them. I love blending them in my soups and stuff. So again, it keeps emphasizing always slice and boil fresh bamboo shoots thoroughly. So I wonder if these are already boiled. I don't know, I'm gonna look. Imported by JFC International Incorporated, Los Angeles, California, product of China. Bamboo shoots, water, citric acid. Warning: consuming this product can expose you to chemicals including lead, which is known to the state of California to cause cancer and birth defects or other reproductive harm. For more information, go to p65warnings.ca.gov/food. So it doesn't say on here that they've been boiled. They are sliced. I'm going to look it up. Maybe if I look it up, it'll tell me. Just leave me alone. I've got those Monday blues, straight through Sunday blues. Good morning, heartache. Here we go again. Good morning, heartache. Yes. Bamboo Dynasty bamboo shoots, which are canned or vacuum packed, are already cooked and boiled. You do not need to boil them to make them safe to eat, though a quick rinse or short boil can help improve any canned or tinny taste. Any canned or tinny taste. Okay, good to know. Wow, look at that. Hush now, don't explain. Just say you'll remain. I'm glad you're there. Don't explain. Are bamboo shoots a laxative? Bamboo shoots are an excellent source of dietary fiber which play a crucial role in maintaining digestive health. The fiber content helps in regulating bowel movements, preventing constipation, and promoting a healthy gut microbiome. You're welcome. Thank you. Drunk teacher crashes into pregnant woman. Lovely.
Is it better to be feared or respected? I say.
Oh yeah, I think it's pretty low. I literally just got here. I literally just got here 5 minutes ago.
Any idea what?
Oh yeah, I walked outside and I was like, you guys looking for this?
Just so that I have an idea what's going on. What's going on? There's a single police suspect. I'm blocked out and don't control me. How many cars in there? Because I see a bunch of cars.
I think there's 2 or 3.
Okay.
Like you flood this way. They said when he came down this way, he potentially hit something down over there. And then he was trying to flee to back to his house, but he came I guess this way. Back, but then he crashed into his house.
So this is his house.
He was trying to get back to his house. I think so, yeah. Or he was a signal too from this side. We're still trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, right now we're just going to, we're going to rinse our rice. It doesn't say you have to rinse it, but I still do. And we're going to put that in the pressure cooker and let this cook. And then we're going to make the sauce for the rice. We're going to do peas and broccoli with the bamboo shoots.
Next, officers get a chance to speak
oat
with the
milk.
suspect's wife.
He's been drinking heavily all weekend.
Garlic, pepper, salt, the unagi sauce. I love that stuff. And put some of that. Alexa, volume 1. Awesome, thank you.
I was here getting ready and we left and running late, probably about 2 o'clock. Yeah, 1:30.
Alexa, volume 5.
Just like any other ETF, markets can change in real time. Make sure your ETF can too. Learn more at fidelity.com/active ETFs. Before investing in any exchange-traded fund, you should consider its investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. Contact Fidelity for a prospectus, an offering circular, or is available, a summary prospectus containing this information. Read it carefully. While active ETFs offer the potential to outperform an index, these products may more significantly trail an index as compared with passive ETFs. ETFs are subject to market fluctuation and the risks of their underlying investments. ETFs are subject to management fees and other expenses. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE,
Alexa, volume 7.
A good day from morning till night. I said to the sun, rise and shine today. You know you gotta get going if you're gonna make it sure. And you gotta ride away, 'cause it's a good day for paying your bills, and it's a good day for curing your ills. So take a deep breath.
Alexa, what's the name of this?
This is It's a Good Day by Peggy Lee.
A Good Day by Peggy Lee. Oh, I think this is... Oh, gosh. 47. Alexa, what year was this released?
It's a Good Day by Peggy Lee was released in 1946.
46. I'm gonna put a little bit of salt and cumin in the rice water. I think it gives it a nice flavor. I'm gonna make a lemon water. You know what's really good? I might make one of those tomorrow. Just frozen strawberries with water, lemon, and agave. I like to use like 1 or 2 lemons depending on the size. I like to almost like making a lemonade, like a strawberry lemonade. And just the frozen strawberries, the lemon, water, and agave. So good.
There's nothing like the American Express Platinum Card. Find out your welcome offer after you apply, which could be as high as 175,000 points. Learn more and find out your offer at americanexpress.com/explore-platinum. Terms apply.
Brought to you by Apple Card. Apple Card lets you earn daily cash back on every purchase every day. Apply in the Wallet app on iPhone today. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at Apple Card.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you.
Every swimmer needs a spotter. One adult with eyes on the water. Keep young and weak swimmers within arm's reach of an adult all the time. And when exploring the outdoors currents, depth and low visibility make open water more dangerous. Be ready to respond before an emergency happens. Find more tips on playing safely around water this summer at safekids.org.